So as a reminder for everyone, can you tell us what QQQ is?
Yeah, so QQQ is an ETF. It's one of kind of the oldest ETFs in the US, 25 years old. And it tracks the NASDAQ 100 index, which is comprised of just the 100 largest companies listed on the NASDAQ exchange, ex-financials. Over these 25 years, it's blossomed into the fifth largest ETF in the world. It's the second most actively traded ETF in the world. And just gives investors an easy way to access 100 of these very innovative and sort of growth-oriented names.
So has the appetite for investing in innovation grown?
Yeah, I think the appetite for innovation in general, right? Like particularly in the past 5 years, you can even go 10 or 15. It's grown considerably. I mean, not only through the flows and interest that we've seen in the ETF itself, but sort of the way that folks look at the ETF. I think initially there's been sort of this misnomer that QQQ is just a basket of technology companies, which is about half correct. But you look at, you can almost like massage the wording into like more technologically oriented companies. So maybe not specifically designated within the tech sector, but certainly running tech adjacent. But we look back to try to figure out, well, what has made these companies really successful? Like, why have they been able to change and innovate and continually push the envelope? And we've found some common characteristics within these companies that I think have allowed them to grow fundamentals as much as they have for the past 2 decades plus. And it sort of starts with the fact that they invest more in things like research and development, which leads to really considerable patent activity. So they're filing a huge percentage of patents across a number of different disruptive technologies. And for us, like that consistent reinvestment back into their business is the thing that drives fundamentals and ultimately performance.
And how has that benefited QQQ?
Well, I think the fact that it's been around for as long as it has, the performance that it's shown. I mean, there's a lot of investor familiarity with the fund. There's a lot of notoriety. I think with it, we've been able to sort of engage in a number of different marketing opportunities, things like Bloomberg Invest, which is one of my favorite events in the year, or
Thank you.
like we're the official ETF of March Madness, right? So if any of you watch the NCAA basketball tournament, like I challenge you to go maybe 5 minutes without seeing a commercial with Invesco QQQ, right? So I think there's this level of familiarity, not only for the names and performance, but now kind of just being a partner with financial organizations and investors being aware of kind of what QQQ is about.
So you've been delivering access to innovation for quite a while.
Yeah, so delivering access to innovation for about 25 years. We just celebrated in March our 25th anniversary for the fund being live. I think that was an important point because it was still in the early stages of ETFs, right? Where it's providing access to individual investors that wasn't really around before. And I think maybe initially it was sort of more institutionally geared, but over these 25 years, I mean, we've seen a number of different institutions using QQQ. We've seen financial advisors on behalf of their clients use the Qs, and now more and more the self-directed investor. Just the ease and accessibility of brokerage platforms these days. I mean, they're getting access to strategies that 10 or 20 years ago, there wasn't really a possibility.